Hit me.
The first time I played a game by Chahi, I barely understood what was going on, but I was fascinated by the art style and creativity of his problem-solving style adventures. I liked Another World, but there was another game called Heart of Darkness that I absolutely fell in love with. Paper Beast by Reef demonstrates some of the same magic that has remained in my memory to this day, but it also takes one big step forward while taking two little steps back at a time. There are 6 chapters divided into 2 to 4 sections each. The main game took about 3 hours to beat, but there's also a sandbox mode which I'll get to in a minute. The story is all over the place, in both good ways and some bad, with plenty of unexpected moments and a strong focus on imagery and special effects. Basically, the idea is to move from scene to scene observing an origami animal kingdom, and assisting them in different ways to unlock the next one. It's limited to teleport and snap turning only. It's not game breaking for this particular title, but it just takes away from the immersion as it doesn't seem like it can make up its mind whether you're a person traversing through the world or just a god whose sole purpose is to change the world while observing it. The sound design and special effects are really what carry it. There are some impressive amounts of particles and physics being showcased here like never before in VR. And in signature fashion, the art design is equally impressive, with some areas in the second half really displaying unique juxtaposition and admittedly triggering some nostalgia. The problems really boil down to 3 things. First, the attempt to make it resemble a godlike point-and-click adventure creates a disconnect from you and the world. There's no emotional moments or feeling of danger when encountered by a pack of predators or events. I wasn't exactly expecting an epic story like The Lion King, but the experience ends up leaning a little more toward herding paper rather than a meaningful story or journey. Secondly, for a game that relies on heavy imagery, the remarkable art design gets a little marred by the low resolution and aliasing. There's supposed to be a pro patch, but I'm not entirely convinced it's there. It's not horrible, but it takes away from key moments, and for $30, I think it could have used just a little more polish. Finally, the game design itself. The first half of the game suffers from tedious pacing and gameplay, oftentimes showing you these extraordinary looking areas but feature little to no interaction. And more often than not, causing more of a distraction than being some kind of cleverly integrated puzzle to solve. The good news is that the second half opens up and finally starts showing better problem-solving mechanics as well as set pieces. Hidden all around each chapter is a collectible you can find that gives you another item to use in the sandbox. This mode is done perfectly, with ample animals and objects to let loose and an array of tools for shaping the landscape in any way you please. I found this mode to be the most satisfying, building my own paradise to observe and push the special effects as far as I could, and it handles it admirably. It gives you plenty of eye candy you can create yourself or different scenarios to observe the different animal behaviors. I got a good chuckle putting wolves on ice skates. Paper Beast shows glimpses of genius and mesmerizing special effects, but it also trips over its own feet a few too many times. Don't let the score fool you. It has some impressive features on display that you should see, but in the end it didn't feel like it lived up to its full potential. With some major flaws in the design like teleport and click turning only, blurriness, and lacking more interactivity with the environments. That being said, if you take your time playing with the physics and dive deep into the sandbox mode, there's enough to leave you satisfied. But for those on the fence, I'd recommend waiting for an update or sale.